Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Limi3T. Today we're going to learn Chinese writing, but before we dive into writing, there are a few important things you need to know. Chinese people have been writing in traditional Chinese for thousands of years. However, for the average person, it can be really challenging to remember all those characters due to their complex strokes. So experts came up with a way to simplify them, leading to the creation of simplified Chinese. It's important to note that simplified Chinese wasn't used until after the founding of the People's Republic of China, and it has continued to evolve over time. But today, simplified Chinese has become standardized, and it's unlikely to be changed again. So now you know a little bit of the history, let's talk about how we actually write Chinese characters. Have you ever wondered where to place the strokes? Before we start writing, it's important to understand the different types of strokes. In Chinese, we call this 笔画. Several strokes combine to form what we call a radical or 偏旁 in Chinese. When many strokes come together, they form a complete character. In this course, we're going to start from the basics. By the end, you will be able to write Chinese characters confidently and neatly. And just to clarify, this course isn't about becoming a calligrapher, it's about learning how to write Chinese characters correctly and effectively. This will be a fun and practical process, and I believe that by the end of this course, you'll feel much more confident with Chinese writing. Alright, let's get started! Hello, welcome to Lesson 7. Today we will learn shùzhépiě, shùzhézhé, 横撇弯钩 and héngzhéwāngōu. Let me explain. shùzhépiě, shùzhézhé, and héngzhéwāngōu, which we learned in Lesson 6, only appear in a few specific Chinese characters. First, let's learn shùzhépiě. If you've been watching this video series since Lesson 1, you should already know 折 represents a turn, and it is a rather sharp stroke. Since I'm using a digital tablet, the stroke looks smoother, but when you practice on paper, make sure to write 折 sharply. The stroke 树 should lean about 15 degrees to the left. It must not be vertical like this, which is wrong. The heng, after the turn, should extend past the top of shu, but not too long. These two can be parallel or nearly parallel in angle. And the last pian should not go over the middle of heng. If you have trouble with the angle, use the grid lines to find balance. This stroke looks like a person doing the one-legged floating lotus pose in yoga. If your balance is off, you'll fall over. Next, let's read and write together. shùzhépiě, 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 shùzhépiě. Next, please find all the shùzhépiě in 10 seconds. Have you found everyone? Let's check. shùzhépiě, shùzhépiě, shùzhépiě. The second stroke we're going to learn is 竖折折. Among common Chinese characters, this stroke appears quite rarely. It basically only appears in the character 顶. However, this character is quite difficult, so in today's writing section, we'll only write 3 Chinese characters. When writing, be sure that both vertical lines are straight for the character to look good. The top one should be shorter. The bottom one is long. Next, let's read and write together. 竖折折, 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 竖折折. Next, please find all the 竖折折 in 10 seconds. Have you found everyone? Let's check. 竖折折, 竖折折, 竖折折. The third stroke is 横撇弯钩. This stroke looks a bit like a right ear seen from the front. It is a compound stroke. We learned 横撇 in lesson 2, and we learned 弯钩 in lesson 4. 横撇弯钩 is a combination of the two. This stroke is a little tricky to write because it's small in size, so even if you don't get it quite right, even if it ends up looking like number 3, it can still be recognized again because it is always small. But since you are a beginner in Chinese, you really should not slack off. Try to write the correct stroke as best as you can. Note that, although this is a compound stroke, it must be written in one go, not split into 2 parts. No. The connecting part in the middle can be smoother, but if that's hard, it's okay if it's sharp. Now, let's read and write together. 横撇弯钩, 横撇弯钩, 横撇弯钩. Now, let's make the connecting the middle part sharp. 横撇弯钩. Sorry. 横撇弯钩, 横撇弯钩, 横撇弯钩. Next, please find all the 横撇弯钩 in 10 seconds. Have you found everyone? Let's check. 横撇弯钩, 横撇弯钩, 横撇弯钩. The fourth stroke is 横折弯钩. After lesson 2, we finished the basic strokes. And everything after that has been compound strokes. 横折弯钩, you see now, is a compound stroke as well. We learned 横 in lesson 1. We learned 竖弯钩 in lesson 6. 横折弯钩 is a combination of 横 and 竖弯钩. But please note, each individual stroke must be written in one motion. In the early stages of practice, of course, you can break it down. But once you are familiar, it must be done in one stroke. This stroke contains both 横 and 竖. So the length varies depending on the characters. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. The topmost 横 can tilt upward, like this. But 横 after the turn must be level. The turning point should be smooth. And the final goal should be sharp and it always goes straight up. The entire curve can tilt slightly to the left, like this. Sometimes it can be way to the left. It depends on the practical character. Now let's read and write together. First, let's make the 竖 part straight. 横折弯钩 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 Sorry, this one's not very good. Let me try it again. 横折弯钩 Much better. Now let's get this part to the left a little bit more. Try 横折弯钩 Sorry, my tablet is really smooth. I believe if you are writing on paper, you can do much better than me. 横折弯钩 To the left, 横折弯钩 Next, please find all the 横折弯钩 in 10 seconds. Have you found everyone? Let's check. 横折弯钩横折弯钩横折弯钩 Congratulations! We've completed learning the 4 strokes for today. Now get your grade notebook ready and let's start writing characters. First, we'll write the word 专 专 This word has many meanings. It can mean expert. This character can be divided into 4 parts from top to bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Note that the 2 horizontal strokes on the top are different lengths. The lower one is slightly longer. The final dot must not be too short. The entire character stands vertically in the square grid. Next, let's read and write together. Say the stroke. 横横shùzhépiě点横横shùzhépiě点横横shùzhépiě点横横shùzhépiě点横横shùzhépiě点横横shùzhépiě点 This word is 专 and it can mean expert. The second character is 对 This word means team. Since we're mainly practicing strokes, I deliberately chose a simple character. Still, we must pay attention to the character's balance. This character is roughly divided into 3 spatial parts. 1, 2, 3. Only when the left and the right are spaced well will the character look good. Please always pay attention to the balance. When we write this character, if your left side is too big, but right side is too thin, it doesn't look good. Or if you do the opposite way, it still doesn't look very good. So make sure you practice and you focus on the balance. And this one is much better. Next, let's read and write together. Say the stroke. 横撇弯钩竖撇捺横撇弯钩竖撇捺横撇弯钩竖撇捺横撇弯钩竖撇捺横撇弯钩竖撇捺横撇弯钩竖撇捺 This character is 对 This word means team. Let me explain again. Since characters with the shùzhézhé are very few, mainly appearing in the character 顶, and this character is rather hard. We are only learning 3 characters today. The final word we'll learn is 繁, which can mean common. This character contains the 点, which should be placed slightly above the middle. When writing 点, it should be angled, not horizontal like this. Otherwise, it becomes a 横, which is wrong. In calligraphy, 点 in this character varies widely. It can connect both sides. It can sit in the middle. It can even creatively cut through other strokes. But the goal of this course is to help you write Chinese characters clearly and efficiently for easy recognition. So the best way to write this 点 is slightly above center, not touching either side. No touching. Please note that the left and the right sides should be the same length. Next, let's read and write together. 撇横折弯钩点撇横折弯钩点撇横折弯钩点撇横折弯钩点撇横折弯钩点撇横折弯钩点 This word is 繁 which can mean common. Congratulations! We've completed learning 3 new Chinese characters. Today, we learned 4 basic strokes: shùzhépiě, shùzhézhé, 横撇弯钩 and 横折弯钩. And in addition, we learned the 3 new Chinese characters: zhuān, 对, 反. Please subscribe to my channel to stay updated with the latest lessons. See you next time!